Chris Smitty received a call announcing she was a grand prize winner in a local drawing.
You were the grand prize winner?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you get for the grand prize?
A lot of trouble.
The actual prize was a visit to Spa Lady. She says she was asked her height, weight, and age, and asked to sign a sheet of paper. She thought she was verifying the information she'd just given. Not so. Soon she received a payment booklet that showed Chris Smitty was a Spa Lady member at $309.
I never wanted to join.
You just wanted to use up your grand prize of
Yeah,
the day at the
it
health
was,
club.
yeah.
Like many others, Chris says she was hounded by Spa Lady and its sister company, Trans World Credit, to pay for the membership. LaDonna Rico, on the other hand, was a fully paid Spa Lady and was pleased with the program. So when the club started their promotional campaign to get new members, she was happy to recommend 4 friends. Each of those new members gave her a chance to win an all-expense-paid trip to the exclusive California resort, La Costa. She was delighted when she won.
So that's 13 months ago, 14 months ago now. How was your trip to California?
I didn't receive it.
Mr. Dvorak, after hearing from LaDonna Rico, sent her a check for $900, less than half the actual cost of her so-called winning trip.
I felt cheated.
Miss Rico's not the only one. It appears that everyone who signed up for a Spa Lady membership and paid on a monthly basis was illegally enrolled and illegally billed. Each was sent a payment booklet from the Trans World Credit Corporation, which is owned by Spa Lady President Charles Dvorak. Each was given a monthly installment amount, but none was told how much interest she was paying for the 12-month installment period. It's not on the contract or in the payment book, and that's a violation of law. Mr. Dvorak first consented and then refused us an on-camera interview. So we waited in his headquarters parking lot until we spotted his car to get answers to those questions. You own the finance company too, Trans World. How come you never state any interest on there or anything? Nothing on those things at all. Didn't you know that's a violation of state law? And then you send out the little books with the payments per month? And never any interest, no APR.
Is it a violation of state law?
Sure is. Under the consumer installment thing, it's more than a month's payment out of the same book.
I think you better check your legal records before you determine that.
Not so, says the state's attorney, who yesterday filed suit against Spa Lady.
Certain disclosures are not present on the existing contract, such as the cash price of the membership, the amount financed under the retail installment contract, and it fails to state that it's a retail installment contract on its face, which is required by law.
In addition to the federal and local charges, the State Department of Registration and Education is preparing charges against Trans World Credit Corporation to put it out of business. And LaDonna Rico, come on down and pick up this Spa Lady check for another $900, courtesy of the U.S. Attorney. Tim?
We said earlier that Mr. Dvorak wished he'd never heard of someone on your side. I guess so we can say that again, huh?
Yes, sir.
Nice job, John. Also tonight, we have an eyewitness extra on claustrophobia, which is the fear of closed-in places. That phobia affects some people so severely their lives are spent avoiding cars, elevators, and rooms without windows. But tonight, Joan Esposito talks to a woman who learned not to be afraid.
On a bus packed with commuters, there are people who are suddenly seized with panic. The walls seem to close in, their hearts pound. In an elevator, they feel trapped with no escape and can't catch their breath. This is what it's like to have claustrophobia, and Jacqueline Stilson has had it since she was 5. Under hypnosis, she found out why.
I was in my front yard at my parents' house. I was playing with the children next door, and they held me under this blanket, and they held it really tight around me. And there were all these noises going on around, and everything seemed a lot louder than it was, and they wouldn't let me out.
While under hypnosis, Jackie's therapist talked her through the experience and told her not to be afraid. This controversial treatment doesn't work for everyone, but it did work for Jackie.
Today I really noticed it when I walked into this elevator. I looked at it first and I went, uh-oh, and then I thought, well, no, there's really no reason to be afraid now, but I was fine.
So did you feel like a momentary panic?
For an instant, because I think it's just been so long and it's been going on forever. But now it didn't really bother me. I thought about it and it clicked in my head that I didn't have to be afraid.
A more accepted treatment for claustrophobia is group therapy. These people meet at Oak Park Centrum Counseling Center to air their fears.
It was a process of about 2.5 years when I couldn't even get into the bathtub. Take a shower, I would wash in sections, in parts.
So we're sitting there, and the play started, everything else, and next thing you know, I started bringing the levels started coming up on me, and I said, what is this? You know, what's going on? Next thing I looked around, I noticed the people, and it seemed like the people were coming in, the stage got closer to me, the people got closer to me, and I started paying attention more to the people and the ceiling and the walls and everything else instead of the play. I wasn't even looking at the play that was going on.
Driving cars on the expressway, being in the left lane with traffic, not being able to get out. I'm not going to leave my car there. Just the idea of being stopped and not being able to move.
Probably the biggest benefit of group therapy for phobics is learning that other people have these fears too. Counselor Gabrielle Sama is a cured phobic who now helps others in the group.
The mistake that I made was not to turn around to him and say, hey, I'm claustrophobic. Don't shut the door. But you see right there, that was like an ego thing. My ego was at stake, and I didn't want to talk about it. So when we, you know, as many times as I do say, don't lock the door, don't close, or whatever, I also find that sometimes old patterns are very hard to break.
If you have a severe phobia that's restricting your activities, whatever the phobia is, you can get help at many clinics in the Chicago area. Perhaps your family doctor can recommend one. Some of the clinics that helped us with this report were Family Guidance Center and Chicago Stress Center, both in Chicago, Centrum in Oak Park, and Institute for Stress Control in Hinsdale.
Can you guess who we are? Soon, 2/3 of all overseas communications and almost all intercontinental television programming will travel by satellites built by one of our companies. We help guide the Columbia Space Shuttle home. We're the leader in alternative fuel technology, fuels which can be derived from abundant organic matter, coal, and natural gases. Our newest electronic brain takes the automobile to a new level of sophistication. It saves fuel and improves total driving performance. We're building a laboratory on wheels, made almost entirely of a plastic that's stronger than most steel yet lighter than aluminum. We've designed the most aerodynamic passenger car in the world, the Probe 4. Communication satellites, aerospace, alternative fuels, electronics, automotive manufacturing, aerodynamics. We're Ford, and we're a leader in all these technologies. No other company in the world can make this statement.
You know, I like my son to steer clear of trouble. Glad he's got this Norelco. Shaves close as a blade without nicks or cuts. Leaves him smooth as a new pair of Sunday boots. World champ Larry Mahan sure is partial to his Norelco, aren't you, honey?
Team of horses couldn't drag me from my Norelco, and that ain't no bull.
Oh, cowboys always talk like that.
Oh, Mom.
World Attract razors, tough on your beard, not on your face, from Norelco.
You'll save on top quality golden ripe bananas at Dominick's, specially selected just for you. Bananas are just 22 cents a pound through Wednesday at Dominick's.